बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवर धारी जय गिरिवर धारी जय यशोदानंद जय ब्रज जन रंजना 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 जय यमुना तिरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलसुरमाय की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंचतत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna, Varush Mataji, welcome all of you to this Srimad Bhagavatam session. Today we will be discussing from 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 17th chapter, verse number 28. So let us recite the verse first. एवं मन्युमयीं मूर्तिम् कृतान्तम् इव बिभ्रतम् प्रणता प्राञ्जलिः प्राह मही सञ्जात भेपतुः एवं मन्युमयीं मूर्तिम् कृतान्तम् इव बिभ्रतम् प्रणता प्राञ्जलिः प्राह मही सञ्जात भेपतुः. Yes, you can recite. I think 3 Matajis are there. All of you can recite.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Madam.
एवं मन्युमनीं मूर्तिं कृतान्तम् इव बिभ्रतं प्रणता प्राञ्जलिः प्राह मही सञ्जात वेपथुः. हरे कृष्ण. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Anybody else wants to say it? Okay, we'll go to the word meaning, synonyms. Evam, thus, Manyumayim, very much angry. Murtim, form. Kritantam, death personified Yamaraja. Eva, like. Bhibratam, possessing. Pranata, surrendered. Pranjalihi, with folded hands. Raha, said. Mahi, the planet Earth. Sanjata, arisen. Vepatuhu, trembling in her body. Translation and purport by Divine Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. At this time, Prithu Maharaj became exactly like Yamaraj, and his whole body appeared very angry. In other words, he was anger personified. After hearing him, the planet Earth began to tremble. She surrendered and with folded hands began to speak as follows. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is death personified to miscreants and the Supreme Beloved Lord to the devotees. In Bhagavad Gita 10.34, the Lord says, Mrityu sarva chaham. I am all devouring death. Faithless unbelievers who challenge the appearance of God will be delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he appears before them as death. Hiranyakashipu, for example, challenged the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Lord met him in the form of Narasimhadeva and killed him. Similarly, the planet Earth saw Maharaj Prithu as death personified, and she also saw him in the mood of anger, anger personified. Therefore, she began to tremble. One cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in any circumstance. It is better to surrender unto him and take his protection at all times. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Jnanjamanandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shri Vishakatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Prabhasandubhaya पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयति किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणानमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठावतले श्रीमते महाविष्णुस्वामिते नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठावतले श्रीलभक्तिविधान स्वामिते निर्विशेषशून्य पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram. So Hare Krishna, Pravis Mataji, thank you very much for joining and keeping your appointment, Krishna, today for this Bhagavatam session. So we are discussing verse number 4, 4th canto, 17th chapter, verse number 28. See in the previous verse, 27th verse, no? We see the earth, no? It has been giving so many excuses, if you see in the previous verses as well. Why King Prithu was actually angry with earth? Because she was giving so many excuses, so many reasonings. See, the earth informed King Prithu that if he destroyed her, then he and his subjects would fall down into the waters of Garbha ocean. So King Prithu now is replying to these points. See, although the earth, no, it assumed the shape of a cow by her mystic powers in order to be saved from being killed by the king. The king was aware of this fact, and he would not hesitate to cut her into pieces. See, as far as the destruction of the citizens is concerned, no, Maharaj Patu maintained that they could uphold everyone by his own mystic powers. So he did not need the help of the earthly planet. So, being the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, Prithu Maharaj possessed the power of Sankarshana, which is explained by the scientists as the power of gravitation. So, the Supreme Personality Godhead is holding millions of planets in space without any no support, right? Similarly, Prithu Maharaj would not have had any difficulty supporting all his citizens and himself in space without the help of the planet Earth. So, the Lord is known as Yogeshwara, master of all mystic powers. So, the Earth planet was informed by the king that she did not worry about his standing without her help. So she was giving so many reasonings not to kill him. She's a cow. How can you kill a cow? How can you kill a woman? And all those things. But Prithu Maharaj. So now in this verse, is right. At this time, Prithu Maharaj became exactly like Yamaraj. His whole body appeared very angry. In other words, he was anger personified. So after hearing him, the planet Earth began to tremble. She surrendered and with folded hands began to speak as follows. So if you can see from the next verses, right? From the 29 verse. This is what? So why he became angry. So let us see why he became angry and what are the consequences. We can learn a lot of things with regard to anger, right? See, the purport of this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is death personified to miscreants and the Supreme Beloved Lord to the devotees. So, right. So in Bhagavad Gita 10.34, it says, Mrityu Sarva Harishchaham, I am all devouring death. See, faithless unbelievers, Prabhupada says, faithless unbelievers who challenge the appearance of God, they'll be delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead when he appears before them as death. And he gave the example of Hiranyakashipu, right? He challenged the authority of Krishna. And he met him in the form of Narasimhadeva and killed him. So similarly, the planet Earth saw Maharaj Prithu as death personified Yamaraj. And she also saw him in the mood of anger personified. Therefore, she began to tremble. See, regarding the presence of God, both the atheist and the theist have practical experience in two different ways. The atheist is a hypocrite. He says there is no God. In fact, there is presence of God both for the theist and the atheist. The example of this presence of God, both before the theist and the theist simultaneously, is Lord Narasimhadeva. So Lord Narasimhadeva appeared before the atheist Hiranyakashipu as death. And he appeared before Prahlad Maharaj, the theist, as the benedictor of blessings. So God has two features of appearance. To the atheist, he appears as death. And to the devotee theist, he appears as the supreme beloved. The atheist, the hypocrite atheist, he says that he does not believe in God. But he cannot say that he does not believe in death. See, the definition of God that he is great. So the atheist does not believe in God means that nobody is greater than him. He feels that he is God himself. But the atheist is enforced to believe that death is greater than him. Death is the representation of God before the atheist. The atheist, theoretically can deny the presence of God. But the presence of God in the form of death is present before him, despite all his braggings and flouting and all. Prabhupada, in one of his letters, he says, you have seen the picture of Lord Narayan? He has got 4 hands. 2 hands are for the atheist, and 2 hands are for the theist. For the theist devotee, the Lord has the lotus flower, the blooming peace and prosperity, and the conch shell, which dissipates all the inauspiciousness by its vibration, correct? But for the atheist, there is a big club for hammering on the head of the atheist, or separating the head of the atheist by the sharpened edge of the disc. So these are the 4 rats. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he descends in every millennium to give protection to the faithful and to annihilate the miscreants. So God has got always these two features of his authority, namely protection and death. So the atheist is hypocrite himself when he says that he does not believe in God. He has to believe in God in the form of death. A criminal, hypocritically says that he does not believe in the government. But a civil citizen, he abides by the law of the government. So the government is present there both for the criminal and for the law abiding citizen. Correct. To the criminal, the government is present as the force of law and order. So putting the criminal in the prison and giving the civil servant all the facilities for a peaceful life. So in both the cases, how one can say that he has not seen God? Death is Krishna. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. 10.34 Bhagavad Gita says. Also, I am death who takes away everything. So the atheist is a liar, no? That he does not see God. God is there for him as death. But the atheist is so stubborn and obstinate. Correct. That although he is very fearful of death, who will take away all his arrangements for sense gratification, he is lying that he does not see him. And in the end, he even attempts to resist death. But he is killed as easily as anything. And there is no doubt about it. So this appearance of God as death before the atheist is also the kindness of the Lord. See, both Krishna's killing and protection are the same because he is absolute. But his mercy is shown to the atheist by killing, right? Krishna's mercy is shown to the atheist by killing, and his mercy is shown to the theist by protecting. So both are seeing God in different features. So this is the practical demonstration of the presence of God. So everywhere is practical experience to see death. So there is never any question of the presence of God. Only the Prabhupada says, only the lying rascal atheist. He tries to cheat by saying that he does not see God. He tries to cheat others to believe that he is God. But he himself cannot deny God when he comes before him in the form of death. See, Gajendra, right? We saw in his Gajendra's prayers in this chapter, right? How Gajendra is surrendering to Lord's lotus feet when he is being attacked by the crocodile in the lake. See, Gajendra, without cribbing about the inability of his kith and kin to save him, they were not able to save him, right? He did not crib. He desired to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavatam 8 canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 33, very beautiful verse. Gajendra says, Yakashchanesho balinontako प्रचंड वेगात् अभिधावतो वृषम् भीतं प्रपन्नं परिपाति यद्भयात् मृत्यु प्रधावत्यरणं तमीमहि. Translation is so beautiful. The Supreme is Gajendra is telling the Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly not known to everyone, but is very powerful and influential. Therefore, although the serpent of eternal time, which is fearful in force, endlessly chases everyone, ready to swallow him. If one who fears this serpent seeks the shelter of the Lord gives him protection. For even death runs away in fear of the Lord. So he says, I therefore surrender unto him, the great and powerful supreme authority, who is the actual shelter of everyone. See, this verse is one of my Guru Maharaj's very favorite verse. He said that we should laminate this verse and distribute it to common people wherever we go, because this verse teaches us how to face death. In fact, during his final days in this metal world, when he was in the Bhaktivedanta hospital in Bombay, Maharaj was teaching this verse to all those who met him. He insisted that we should learn this shloka, word to word meaning, and the translation by heart, memorize, so that we understand and remember the message of this verse always. See, in this verse, we can see Gajendra glorifying the Lord as Ishaha and Balinaha. Prabhupada has translated Ishaha means the supreme controller, and Balinaha, very powerful. Also, we have Antakarogat. Antakarogat means serpent of eternal time, whose nature is described as Prachanda Vegat Abhidhavato Brisham, fearful force chasing everyone endlessly. So time is always acting on each one of us, every moment. See, time has its influence on everything and everybody. With time, things deteriorate. See, our body grows old. So anything material definitely deteriorates with time. So definitely time is very influential. Death can come at any moment for any one of us and snatch away all the things which we are clinging on into this material world. So it is definitely bhitam, fearful. But for those who are surrendered to Supreme Lord, prapannam, the Lord, paripati, protects. And death personified, in what happens to death personified? Runs away out of the fear of the Lord. So we can see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in 11.32, Kalo asmi lokakshaya krit pravriddho. Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds. And he says in 10.34, Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. I am the all-devouring death. So time, death are all fearful for those who don't accept the authority of Krishna. So in his wonderful purport to this 8.8233 verse, Prabhupada says, it is not only that Gajendra, the king of the elephants, was afraid of death. Everyone should fear death because everyone is caught by the crocodile of eternal time and may die at any moment. The best course, therefore, is to seek the shelter of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and be saved from the struggle for existence in this middle world, in which no one is repeatedly taking birth and dying. To reach this understanding is the ultimate goal of life. So Prabhupada, in one of his lectures, gives this nice example of cat, kitten, and rat. The cat bites the rat as well as the kitten. The rat is very fearful of being bitten by the cat. On the contrary, kitten feels very safe in the mouth of the cat. So you can understand this point, right? So those who are not surrendered to Krishna, their position is like the rat. Whereas those who are surrendered to Krishna, their position is like that of the kitten. So time is working on everybody. And time works on those people who are not surrendered to Krishna. Those who are surrendered to Krishna, time doesn't touch them. So for such surrendered souls, old age is not miserable. And they welcome death with a smile because it gives them the opportunity to meet Krishna face to face and have his eternal association. See, in the last line of the purport of the verse, which we are discussing today, 4:17-28, the last line, Prabhupada says, one cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in any circumstance. It is better to surrender unto him and take his protection at all times. You know, a devotee is very expert in managing his life. See, there are very important verses in first canto, second chapter, verse number 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, the five verses. So these five verses are directing us to the Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna. And he shows us the way how to approach the Supreme Absolute Truth. In fact, these verses should be learnt and recited. They are very beautiful. 1 to 17 to 1 to 21. Shranmatam swakata Krishna punyashravana kirtanah hridyantesto hyabhadrani vidhunoti suhritsatam नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी तदा रजस्तमो भावाः कामलोभादयश्च ये चेतयेतेरनाविद्धम् स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवत्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानम् मुक्तसङ्गस्य जायते भिद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिश्चिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. See these five verses, no, which are 1 to 7, 1 to 17 to 1 to 21, which is there in Bhagavatam, five separate verses. But in Bhagavad Gita, if you go to 7th chapter, first verse, Prabhupada gives all these five verses in the purport, gives the translation of all these verses together. So it is very important we should learn that paragraph by heart. Go to 7th chapter, first verse. In the purport, Prabhupada gives all these five verses and gives the translation of all these five verses together. I just read those translations. Oh, nice to hear. Just hear very with attention. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, the devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the signs of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotees in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna. So please, whenever you get time, my Maharaj used to say, your leisure hours, don't waste a single second. But try to learn these scriptures so that you have a ready-made paragraph with you to approach Krishna. It is very difficult in a way. But Srila Prabhupada has made it very easy, by quoting these five verses. And these five verses must be learnt at the earliest. And then try to learn the purport from Bhagavatam, right? Which we very beautiful, which he has given in combined translation here. But you go to Bhagavatam 1 to 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. And find time. Learn these verses and the purpose from Bhagavatam. Very beautiful. These five verses are very, very important for us to understand. And in the current verse which we are discussing, the 28th translation of this 14, 4, 17, 28, Prabhupada says, at this time, Prithu Maharaj became exactly like Yamaraj, and his whole body appeared very angry. In other words, he was anger personified. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, titled Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj to stop fighting. Manu, while advising his grandson about the dangers of anger, he instructs in the verse number 31. He says, my dear king, just consider what I have said to you, which will act as medicinal treatment upon disease. Control your anger, for anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. He says, control your anger, because why? Anger is the foremost enemy on the path of spiritual realization. And he said, I wish all good fortune for you. Please follow my instructions. So in this context, Dhruva Maharaj's brother was killed by Yaksha for no reason. And so as a king, Dhruva Maharaj, it was his responsibility to punish the killer. So his anger was meaningful. But the trouble lies when the anger goes beyond one's control. There's an old saying that even excessive nectar is poisonous. Then what to say of anger? Krishna very nicely explains in Bhagavad Gita 2.63. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः, सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रमः, स्मृति ब्रह्मात् बुद्धिनाशो, बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. Excessive anger causes delusion, bewilderment, loss of intelligence, and pushes us to material pool. So, what is the remedy for excessive anger? How can we control anger? See, management schools might provide remedies like drinking a glass of water or counting from 1 to 10. But all these tips are not helpful for the current day's situations. So, Swayambhu Manu, no, the father of mankind, he has mercifully given us the eternal remedy in this verse. Shrutena bhuyasa, or constant hearing. So the purport, Prabhupada has emphasized the same thing. He says, by constantly hearing about devotional service, one can check the force of anger, which is detrimental to the process of devotional service. Constant hearing. So Parikshit Maharaj said that the constant hearing of the pastimes of the Lord is the panacea for all material diseases. Everyone, therefore, should hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Nityam Bhagavat Sevya. By hearing, one can always remain in equilibrium. And thus, what happens is progress in spiritual life will not be hampered. Anger, indeed, is a dangerous weapon. It is like a sword, right, with sharp edges at both sides. And thus, what happens? It causes pain to the person who is attacked and also to the person who holds it. Does that mean one should not become angry under any circumstance? Prabhupada gives a wonderful illustration for this, the purport to this above verse. Once, a snake became a devotee of Lord after being instructed by Narada Muni. And thereby, what happened? It gave us behavior of biting others. What happened? Other people took undue advantage of this and started hurting him by throwing stones at him. So when Narada Muni came to know about this, he instructed the snake, don't bite, but do not forget to expand your hood as if you are going to bite. Then they will go away. So Prabhupada ends the purport with a very powerful statement. He says, similarly, a devotee is always non-violent. He is qualified with all good qualities. But the most important statement he says is, but in the common world, when there is mischief made by others, he should not forget to become angry, at least for the time being, in order to drive away the miscreants. See, we all have the experience in the material world. There is always anxiety and conflict. See, in all the companies, where so many people work, conflict management is a very important aspect of management. Everyone wants relief from this, right? And when we take up devotional service, we find that there are so many conflicts. And for this, devotional service is not to be blamed because it is the internal energy of the Lord and is completely pure. The reason is many of us who have taken up devotional service are still in the modes. And in these modes, when we interact with people, we have so many conflicts. We are moving with different people with different mentalities. Just think about it. Every devotee has a different character, different way of looking at things. And every devotee has come from different backgrounds. So how we speak, how we talk, how we react, how we are trained in, they are all different, right? So the way forward is not to get frustrated and give up devotional service. Very important point. So let us see the secret of conflict management. See, there is always a potential conflict, potential. But by tolerance and by adjustment, by loving dealings, nothing is impossible. Srila Prabhupada, in the last line of his purport to Bhagavatam 3:31-18, he writes very beautifully. By the transcendental energy of the Lord, everything is possible. By the transcendental energy of the Lord, everything is possible. See, we are not making this a material organization. It is Krishna. We are not fighting for what? Even when the devotional service, why are we fighting? Actually, we are fighting ridiculously to perform the service to Krishna. Correct. Just think about it. It is a ridiculous idea. Bhagavatam tells us that when Jaya and Vijaya, the gatekeepers in Vaikuntha, when they stopped the Sanat Kumaras from going inside Vaikuntha, they were doing their service. Okay, they looked a bit angry, but they're doing the service. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that when Sanat Kumaras walked through the gates to Vaikuntha and came to the seventh gate and decided just to walk in, they were doing a service. So what was hankering in their heart? The Sanat Kumaras are what? Not to take over Vaikuntha. The Sanat Kumaras want to take darshan of Krishna. That's all. And in fact, the Sanat Kumaras, they were hardcore impulsionists. But their hearts were softened just by smelling the Tulasi Maharani. By the aroma of Tulasi, their hearts changed. And they came up to Vaikuntha. See, they were very happy. And Jay and Vijaya say, we have our service also. Unfortunately, our service says we have to check you here. So you stop here. So there is a conflict, a potential conflict. Immediately, Sanat Kumaras became upset. You have stopped us from doing service. We wanted to have darshan. How can you stop us? How many times have you been in such a situation? You say, Prabhu, I want to take darshan. And the other devotee says, sorry, time is over, it is closed. Sanat Kumaras tell Jaya and Vijaya, since you are behaving like you are not from Vaikuntha, better go down to Kunta, material world, which is full of anxieties. Kunta means anxieties, right? Vaikuntha, no anxiety. So they are telling them, you are behaving just like as you are not in Vaikuntha. So better go down to Kunta, material world, which is full of anxieties. Go to material world and behave like. The moment they have said that, if we were in Jaya and Vijaya's shoes, what would we do? We will also curse back. Oh, since you tell us like this, you also come down with us and we will continue our fight with Kunta. That's better. But Jay and Vijay immediately they started repenting. They said, you are great exalted souls. We are repentant. Please do not curse us to leave the service of Krishna. We only did this because we wanted to serve Krishna. We are sorry. We did not do it in a matured way. Maybe we are a bit rough. Maybe we presented it wrongly. But ultimately, stripped of everything else, we're just trying to serve Krishna, that's all. At that point, what happened? Supreme Lord Krishna, who is a master mediator, no, arrives there. He walks in. And what does Krishna do? Because he is Atma Ramaya, one who is self-satisfied. He is very Shantaya. He is most gentle. So very gently, Krishna adjusts the situation. Krishna is always adjusting. See how wonderfully he does this conflict management, how wonderfully. We can learn from this. First, Krishna pacifies Sanat Kumaras. He says, you Brahmanas, you're absolutely right. I love you Brahmanas and love your cows. And because of that, what you say, I will endorse. No issues about that. You're right. Don't you know something? See, Krishna is telling them, don't you know something? I am ready to chop off my hand for Jaya and Vijaya. It is not their fault actually. The rotting part is the top. That is why they are rotting. So, if actually speaking, they are not the one to take this burden. I am the one. I am the big boss. So, employees under me, ultimately, I am liable. But Krishna now he says, I have only one request to the Sanat Kumar is telling. I have only one request. Since you already given the curse and you are Brahmanas, so what you said is correct. So I agree with you all for all this. And his request was, please do one thing. Please bring Jay and Vijay back as soon as possible because they are very dear to me. If Krishna spoke to us like this, our hearts would melt. Then there won't be any heart, right? It will be liquid. So Sanat Kumara say, we have unnecessarily cursed faultless persons. We are really remorseful about this. Sorry about that. So then the master mediator says, now the other point, he says, actually it is all my arrangement. Do not feel anything. I just adjusted you here and there. He's telling to Sanat Kumar, I just adjusted you. Krishna says, actually it is my arrangement because I am bored in Vaikuntha. I need to do some fighting. Some exercise is needed. So Jay and Vijay are a very strongly built body, right? So Krishna says to them, so you come down and fight with me as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, as Shishupala and Dantavakra, and as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. And after we fight, you come back with me. Where is the problem? See, in all your life, you will still see me. So they fall down. Actually speaking, this episode is the perfect example of conflict management. And it is true. And Bhagavatam started it well before the corporate term came, right? Conflict management. So how do we do it? See, what did Krishna do here? Krishna pacified one side. He pacified one side, praised the other side, and got both of them to do what he wanted to do. He pacified one side, Jay and Vijaya, praised the other side, Sanat Kumaras, and got both of them to do what Krishna actually wanted them to do. But what? But he did it with full love. No anger, shouting, no. He did it with genuine love. He did it by saying, I am willing to sacrifice. He took the blame on himself, and by doing so, everything was fine. So when anyone says, how such things can happen in Vaikuntha? This is Vaikuntha, there should not be any fighting at all. Prabhupada makes a perfect point. Prabhupada says that the Sanat Kumaras were in the gates of Vaikuntha. So nobody will think of this argument, right? Vaikuntha means no anxiety. So how can such a conflict happen in Vaikuntha? Prabhupada very beautifully says, they went through 6 gates, but they have not gone into Vaikuntha yet. They were just outside. So Kunta can happen. So there will always be people who are a bit rough in nature, but they become devotees. See, there are devotees who are naturally sadhus. They also come to Krishna consciousness. Their baggage is a bit easy to handle. But Krishna loves all his devotees. He values all kinds of devotees. See, as we grow older in life, even in material life, we will find these advice we give our children when they fight, right? And this advice our father has given to us. So this is the way forward for all of us. There is no other way. That's why Bhagavatam 7:13-42, it says, Naham ninde nachastomi swabhava vishamam janam ete sham shreya ashase utaikatmyam mahatmani. Different people are of different mentalities. Therefore, it is not my business either to praise them or to blaspheme them. I only desire their welfare, hoping that they will agree to become one with the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. See, our movement is growing every day, and our challenge is to meet devotees with different mentalities. If we can accept that everyone has a different mentality, then we'll accept that we will naturally be close with some people. Some people we may know each other, but not really develop a relationship. So that is natural even in the spiritual world. There are 2 camps to serve Krishna. But the 2 camps do not fight for themselves. The 2 camps engage in healthy competition to serve Krishna. So variety is a monopoly of Krishna. Here Prabhupada said that in a society, there can be different kinds of devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has said that there are different levels of devotees. So the first thing to accept practically is that everyone is different and everyone will come with a different way of approach. But we have the basic rules and regulations that bind all of us. The Guru Maharaj said, good neighbors build strong fences. It's an old Vedic saying, right? See, we do not build strong fences to say, you are out of my sight. See, in those days, when they built strong fences, they built so that your cows won't accidentally walk into my area and eat all my grass and cause misunderstanding. That was the aim. If we can understand the subtle but important difference between why a good neighbor builds a good fence We will never be fighting with each other. There will always be shaking hands and helping each other. At the same time, being considerate to each other. So we must recognize that we have different moods. All the different acharyas have different moods. Srila Prabhupada very often said that if my Guru Maharaj, Simha Guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura was here now, no, he would reject all of you. But I have to be merciful and I'm accepting all of you. This is what Prabhupada said. So our way should be we do not blaspheme and we do not criticize. If a group of devotees have a certain way of doing it, it is good because Krishna is being remembered. Srimad Bhagavatam is being spoken. Chanting is there. Prasadam is there. So they're all trying their best to follow the rules and regulations. They're putting tilak, they are wearing dhoti and kurta. So what do we have to say about them? We wish them well and they continue. So as devotees, we always take a matured view. So let us adjust and tolerate each other. Srila Prabhupada put all in one society. So why can't we appreciate that there is variety? When we appreciate there is variety, we will respect each and every one. See, when there is a small, very trivial misunderstanding or disagreement, it is better to keep silent and to continue with our service and not get offended or try to counteract. See, always things have a way of blowing away. If we leave something in its ordinary course of activities, after a while it blows away. Only for that period we have to tolerate. But after a while, see the nature of middle nature, right? The perfect thing about middle nature is that whatever comes must go. So whatever bad that comes also has to go. And the package is whatever good that comes also has to go. So in one way, we should be happy that we are in the material world. The Guru Maharaj used to say, the good thing about material world is that everything ends. See, can we imagine if every day we are having anxiety for 300 years? We will die. Too much. When the disease comes, the good thing about material nature is that the disease must end. Either we are dead or it leaves the body. That is the beauty of material nature. So devotee sees the hand of Krishna even in material nature. So these are some of the ways of Shastric understanding by which we can learn to live with each other. It's not an easy process. We always have to struggle with the modes of material nature. See, we struggle with our previous experiences. And all personalities come with baggages. We all come into the middle world with one baggage, two baggage, and so on. Reading of Bhagavatam should mean we should be carrying less and less baggage. See, if we carry three baggages, four baggages, we cannot get on the train easily. Very tough. If you have less baggage, you can just walk into a train. It's very easy. So pack your life in such a way that you carry minimum baggage. When there is minimum baggage, you will always be a good instrument for Krishna. You will cooperate easily, you will tolerate easily, you will adjust easily. This is necessary. I'll end with one instructive story. The easy way to control our mind. Once, Buddha was walking from one town to another with a few of his followers. So this was in those initial days. So while they were traveling, they happened to pass a lake. They stopped there, and Buddha told one of his disciples, I am thirsty. Do get some water from the lake. So the disciple walked up to the lake. When he reached it, he noticed that right at that moment, a bullock cart started crossing the lake. So what happened? The water became muddy. Not easy to drink. It's difficult to drink now. So the disciple, how can I give the muddy water to Buddha to drink? So he came back and told Buddha, the water is very muddy. I don't think it is fit to drink. Buddha did not say anything. After about half an hour, again Buddha asked the same disciple to go back to the lake and get him the water to drink. Disciple obediently went back to the lake. This time again, he found the lake was still muddy. He returned and informed Buddha about the same. After some time, again Buddha asked the same disciple to go back. The disciple reached the lake to find the lake absolutely clean and clear with pure water in it. The mud had settled down, and the water above it looked fit to be taken, drunk, right? We can drink it. So he collected some water in a pot and brought it to Buddha. Buddha looked at the water and he looked at the disciple and said, "See what you did to make the water clean. You just let it be. The mud settled down on its own, and you got clear water. Your mind is also like that. When it is disturbed, just neglect it. Give it a little time. It will settle down on its own. You don't have to put any effort to calm it down. It will happen. It is effortless." That's why Prabhupada writes a very punching statement in his purport 5:11:17 Bhagavatam. There is one easy weapon with which the mind can be conquered: neglect. If we neglect its useless demands, it will calm down. If we keep encouraging it to demand more and more, then it will eat us away. So, our real test of our devotional service is not based on how we behave when things are going very favorably, but on how we react in adverse situations. If we are getting angry, agitated, or blaming each other, then this is a sure warning sign from the Lord to wake us up, to wake up our senses, and sincerely endeavor to improve our behavior and take shelter of the two important qualities: peace and patience, which the Lord is insisting to the demigods when they took shelter of him, no, in the fighting with the demons in the pastime of the churning of the milk ocean. So Bhagavatam 8:6-24, Krishna says, "My dear demigods, with patience and peace, everything can be done. But if one is agitated by anger, the goal is not achieved. Therefore, whatever the demons ask, agree to their proposal." See, in one of the lectures, my Guru Maharaj, he said, the main characteristic of a sober person is that even in agitating circumstances, he is not agitated. A sober person is that main characteristic of a sober person is that even in agitating circumstances, he is not agitated. This is initiation, he said. This is initiation. Otherwise, what is the use of initiation? Nothing else is to be learned. You have to learn this first. For this, Krishna's names are very important. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So as soon as we learn to become sober, dhiraha, then everything becomes clear. So from peaceful attitude, everything could be generated. Without peace and patience, nothing could be solved. Peace and patience, the two P's. So instead of double P, we take double A, anger and agitation. Whereas it should be peace and patience. So when anger and agitation, then we spoil the whole thing. We should avoid this completely. From today, when we are agitated and blinded by anger, we stop seeing the hand of Krishna in that situation. Our minds are closed. And we fail to see or understand what lesson does Guru, Prabhupada, Krishna want to teach us through this situation in life. So now we face different kinds of reciprocation, right? Like being defamed, being cheated, being cursed, being killed, neglected. See, honestly, if we calmly introspect ourselves, we can see that these are the same reciprocations we give to Guru, Prabhupada, and Krishna for the love and compassion they show to us. How? See, we spoil their names by our improper behavior. We cheat them by not following their instructions. We curse them when they do not satisfy our material hankerings. We neglect them day in and day out. With all these, we finally kill them. How? Drive them out of our hearts. So we see that the other living entities in turn reciprocate in the same way to us, just like we do to our gurus. So when we face messy situations, let us not get angry or agitated, but with patience and peace, introspect ourselves, correct our mistakes, establish a favorable relationship with our spiritual master by following his instructions, taking shelter of holy names, and improving our behavior. So when we have a favorable disposition towards Guru, Prabhupada, and Krishna, we can definitely see that the whole world becomes favorable to us. So this is how we should take things, take lessons, and put it into practice in our daily life. So how to control our anger? 3 things. Take a cool shower, put tilaka regularly, because that will improve the blood circulation and help us remain calm and cool. And third, get in touch with Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Right? So let us all play the lotus feet of Krishna, Prabhupada and Guru to guide us to remain cool in all circumstances. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai Shri Prabhupada ki nitai gaur vancha kalpatarubicha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnav. Anantakoti Vaishnav. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhupada Mataji, for giving me this opportunity to glorify Krishna and try to purify myself. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or any points which you felt very useful for you to put in the daily practice, you can share. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Really conflict management session, Hare Krishna.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And
Vivek,
completely management, we felt that it is like a MBA class, like
Right.
it all. But it's in a
MBA certificate.
spiritual way, not the material way, with having the two peace, no, the peace and patience.
Patience.
We should we should neglect the mind and get rid of agitation, anger, and agitated mind. Really beautiful.
Very nice. Wonderful. Thank you, Guru. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna,
We
Prabhu.
practically gave the explanation of how to manage our anger and conflict, because many times we read, but we are not able to actually apply it in our life. So it was very practical. Prabhu, can you just repeat that thing which you mentioned about how we are, offending our guru, like the last part which you
Offending our
mentioned?
gurus. Yeah. Okay. Yes, sure. See, we find different kinds of reciprocation, right? Suppose we are in the Krishna consciousness, we are being defamed, cheated, cursed, killed, neglected, all these things, right? So if you really think about these things, in fact, that we're getting that as a reciprocation because we are doing it. How? That is, we spoil the names of our Guru, Prabhupada, and Krishna by our improper behavior. We cheat them by not following their instructions. We curse them when they do not satisfy our material hankerings.
Yes.
We neglect them day in and day out. So with all these ways, we finally kill them. In other words, drive them out of our hearts. So these are a few points.
Yes,
And it's the same thing, other living entities in turn reciprocate the same way to us. So it is our problem, right? So we should be more careful with our. So we should have a favorable disposition towards the Guru and Krishna. Then we can definitely see the whole world becomes favorable to us.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Every word that you spoke was like same character building for all of us. And we have to handle anger and agitation in a manner that we represent our guru and our parents. We cannot if we behave badly with somebody, they will think that oh, probably she has not been taught properly, or her parents, this is her lineage probably. So we have to remember that, oh, I represent my entire generation of so many people, my so many gurus, and at least remember them when we are behaving with others. Prabhuji, thank you so much for touching upon this point.
Thank you, Mother. Excellent.
Thanks a lot.
Well put, Mother. Hari Bol. Thank you much, Hare Krishna.
Very punching statement is that different people have the different mentalities. So that's a really a punching one.
Yes, it is from Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Everything you get it from Bhagavatam.
Yes.
It's true. No, if everybody has the same mentality, there's no problem in controlling, right? Otherwise, materially also is a problem. Even in the spiritual activity in the organization, it's all the same thing. Each person has different mentality. So you have to. So patience is much required, right? Peace and patience. Try to handle. Because the things will go away. That's the point. Is be silent. Just like the story of Buddha, it will come down when you can. So don't react. Slowly it will settle down. 100% sure. So take your chanting beat, go walk out. When there is something like, just start chanting. Maybe after, then automatically things will get minimized.
But wherever required, you should be like a snake also. There's Narada Muni.
Yes. Another good point. That's the other point. People say then they'll take advantage of us, right? You're humble and all. But don't forget to get angry. Prabhupada says in the book. Don't forget to get angry when people try to take advantage of us. They show that just to show that you cannot take us for granted. So, and we should be like the master mediator Krishna, right? Pacifying one side and
Praise one
appreciating the
more
other
side.
side, right? And then bringing them both together, what he actually wanted, right? He didn't do anything, beating or nothing. Very beautifully managed the both potential conflict, right? So very
That is
nice.
what exactly,
Thank you.
instead of talking on the phone, meet personally and it will get
Discuss.
just dissolved, just melt. The love melts.
True. See, the ridiculous point is, in the spiritual organization, we are all fighting for actually to serve Krishna. Both of them want to serve Krishna in their different ways. Ultimately, that's a very ridiculous point to understand.
For that, you said, I
So
think,
there
two
is no
camps.
point in
There are
so
two camps.
very nice.
Two types of
Yes.
camps. You mentioned two
Yeah.
types of camps.
Ultimately, they want to serve Krishna, right? So what is the problem there? So that conflict management can be just died down by sincerely discussing with them, each with them, and trying to mitigate. Well, easy to say, but I can see so many leaders not say.
Very
But
tough.
we have to follow Bhagavatam. If you follow Bhagavatam, it will happen, definitely. It's possible.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One more small doubt I had. So, Prabhu, you mentioned that that suffering will end. But sometimes what happens is the suffering is too long, and the endurance and patience may wear out after a point. So, how to keep the patience up alive?
See, the same thing. Actually, this was one of my godbrother. He was giving a class on this tolerance, and he was telling about tolerance. We have to be tolerating. So I asked Prabhuji, okay, tolerance is fine. I'm tolerating, but to what extent should I tolerate? Same thing you are asking. He said there is no measurement. Only to this extent you can tolerate alone. As go on tolerating maximum possible, and the best way is to chant Hare Krishna Mantra. More difficult is chant more and more chanting, more and associated with devotees. Right? If you go out of this circle, no, again you will feel the problem. Here, see, hearing is very important. Hearing Hare Krishna mantra and hearing Krishna Katha day in and day out, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, more and more, definitely other things will get mitigated. Automatically it will get mitigated. You don't have to do it in separate endeavor. Sufferings will go off automatically. So I always give this example. See, when you take the shelter of, see, the sufferings will be there, but you can tolerate more and more. How? When the rain comes outside, what do? You take an umbrella, right? So when you open the umbrella, does the rain stop? Right? So it doesn't stop, it still comes, but it doesn't affect you because you open the shelter of the umbrella. So you see the sufferings are still there, but now you have taken the umbrella of Krishna, your shelter of Krishna. So when you take the shelter of Krishna, just like the rain which still pours, but the umbrella is open, it will not affect you. Since you have taken the umbrella, shelter of Krishna, the sufferings will be there, but it will not affect you to the extent which it was affecting earlier. So you will continue to take the shelter of Krishna and go on chanting and doing all these activities which Prabhupada has given. Then it will be, I hope it is useful, Mataji. Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
One point, Prabhuji, which you have been telling us regularly, don't think that you are tolerating others are tolerating you.
Jai. Absolutely. Wonderful point, Mataji. That's absolutely true. We think that we are tolerating others, but how much others are tolerating you? Think about that.
Yes, that is a very important
nice.
point which you told us.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
And even Prabhupada, I mean, what he's been telling us, even if it's a sad, what do you call, bereavement in the house, you just have to tolerate. That's it.
True. Yes, difficult, but still, because the things will go. These are temporary, right? Good things
Yes.
also come and go, bad things also come and go. We should just continue with our chanting, the sadhana. Try to think of how I can make my sadhana better and better. how to purify. The basic thing is you have to purify. So unless you are purified, you cannot go to Goloka.
Yes,
Only way of
Prabhuji.
purifying is chanting Hare Krishna mantra, associated with devotees, Hare Krishna Katha, Mangalarti. Whatever purpose you can, just follow as it is. That's it.
And welcome death happily.
Yeah, it'll because we don't fear of that. Because if you surrender to Krishna, death also fears Krishna. Death
Yes.
fears of Krishna. Like Gajendra
Thank you
said,
so
that
much.
beautiful verse. Thank you,
Yes,
Mataji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Very nice class. Thank
Pavani
you so
Mataji,
much.
Hare Krishna, for your wonderful points.
Shastrik way of living, you mentioned. No?
Thank you, Suresh. Yes.
Shastrik way of living, like we all come with the baggage, and but reducing the baggage by going through all the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, chanting.
We become light, no? Just go and come. That's it. Otherwise, baggage means so many things to carry. Very good. Thank you. I'm very happy you're all attentively hearing and noting down the points. It's all Guru's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy, Krishna's mercy. I'm also doing the same thing, following whatever they are shown to share with all of you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Uttam Prabhu, Jyoti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. A small request.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Can you kindly display the shloka of today on the screen, Prabhuji? Now?
Today's shloka.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I would like to. Evam manyu mayim kratanta pratam pranata pranjali praha mahi sanja tabe pathu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
You wanted to recite, huh? Hare Krishna. Very good, Mataji. Thank you.
I missed out because due to some constraint. I couldn't,
No
because
problem.
when you were calling out, no, I
Yes.
frantically wanted. I thought, no, I missed this shloka for today. That's why I requested Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. No problem. Very good. Nice. That eagerness should be there to recite shloka. Right? Thank you, Mataji. So I'll stop here now. Hare Krishna. Ganta Srimad Bhagavatam ki Shloka. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.